Alright, so we finally got this to work after all. Took me a few tries, but I think we're on the air now for the Gander RV 400. About to get this thing kicked off here. Ron, how's it going? I'm doing fantastic. Hopefully you are too. So we're about ready to start this full race live stream here today. Again, Pocono Raceway. If we take a look at what the season standings look like right now, I have a huge lead as far as the regular season standings are concerned. We've got 6 races before the playoffs, but as far as the playoff bubble goes, Eric Almirola is the final driver in on points ahead of Jimmy Johnson by 30 points coming into this race. So I'm not sure exactly what the must-win scenarios will be going into there, but we'll have to see over the course of the race how those two drivers are doing as well. So Kevin Harvick on the pole for this one. We're starting at the rear of the field. We did not qualify. And Harvick, just like at New Hampshire, looks like he's going to be fast all day long today from the pole. Corey LaJoie, on the other hand, complete opposite, and William Byron is going to be starting at the rear of the field for this race here today. So me and Byron from the rear of the field, how far up will we be able to drive? The green flag is in the air at Pocono, and we are underway here this morning. 50 laps in the opening stage of the race. Going into turns 1 and 2, the outside lane, or turns 1 anyway. The outside lane kind of checked up on the initial start. We're driving it on through on the bottom of the racetrack, 3 wide now, down this second longest straightaway of the racetrack before we get into the tunnel turn. 3 wide again for a moment as we had to kind of back it down. And now we're still to the inside of Paul Menard. Byron still stuck towards the rear of the field. And the 00 to the outside of us of Landon Castle. We are using the controller here today as well for this race. 1 lap in the books. Kevin Harvick will lead the opening lap at Pocono here today. 50 laps in this first stage. 50, 50, and 60, just like it was for the first race earlier this year. It's the second racetrack in which we have gone to for a second time this season. Looking to the inside of DiBenedetto and Austin Dillon there. Looking again to the inside off of turn 2. 3 wide. Dillon gets out of the gas before we get into 3. He didn't want to be stuck in the middle. Big run coming on Matt DiBenedetto that time. We're making our way through the field. Following Daniel Hemrick now on the inside. Almost got into the 38, and here comes Chris Buescher to the inside, trying to make it 3 wide. Not going to happen. We're going to block him off. They are 3 wide behind us. And now Buescher able to pull in front of Ty Dillon as well, as we're 2 by 2 by 2 going into turn 2 on the middle of the racetrack. Oh, contact with the 34. Got a little wiggly off of turn 2 that time. Slid right up into him. Both of us are all right. We're going to keep moving. So we move up to the 21st position on the racetrack. Trying to get a draft now off of Daniel Hemrick. Big run down the Long Pond straightaway, now going for 20th into turn number 1. Got a huge pack of cars there, right around 15th, not too far ahead of us. It's going to be a slow and methodical drive to the front of the field here at the beginning of this race. From the 39th starting position, we've already gotten up to 20th. It's only lap 4. But you can see how much more spaced out the front of the field is the closer we get to the front. Oh, 3 wide there through turn 3 now. Right around the 17th and 18th positions. Just ran our fastest lap of the race early on here, 54.94 or 954. Isn't that great of a lap? In all reality. See, our fastest lap ever here at Pocono is a 53.615. We are running, I know it's early in the race, but we are running almost a second and a half slower to the inside of Ryan Priest, going into turn 3, trying to get the 19th position. Can't quite clear him off of turn 3. Had to get out of the gas before we pulled up into him, but then we ended up pulling up into him anyway. A little bit of contact was made. Now we'll try to get back around him on the Long Pond straightaway. We're going to clear him before we get into turn 1. That'll move us up to 19th. Now looking to drive it in deep on Ryan Newman for 18th. Can't quite get to Newman that time. Fall in line behind him, and now we'll try to clear him before we get into turn 2. Kevin Harvick already 12 seconds ahead of us. Drive through this field. Compared to him having the clean air. Truex back here outside the top 10 as well as we pass him for 17th. Truex now trying to crossover move. Going all the way down to block him. Back up to the top of the track. Got Chase Elliott, Clint Boyer, the next 2 drivers in front of us for position. They're running 12th and 13th in the point standings coming into today, so you would think they wouldn't be in a very comfortable situation, but both of them do have wins this season. Of course, Chase Elliott getting the win earlier this year at Richmond, and Clint Boyer getting the win earlier this season, actually just a couple races ago at Daytona in the Coke Zero 400. Nice little 3-wide pass going into turn 1. That'll move us up to 15th. That didn't take us long to get around those 2 at all there. Try to draft Daniel Suarez now. This should lead us into turn number 2. Setting him up. Looking to the inside off of turn 2 so we can get him in turn 3. Actually, it looks like we're going to get him before that. He lets us go without a fight. So we are moving up through the field methodically, despite the fact Kevin Harvick is quite a ways ahead of us, now about 13 and a half seconds ahead, and still pulling away. And we got Almirola in front of us, who ran a little higher line. It's probably going to help with the straightaway speed. Good way to set him up, get around him, and now clear him before we even get into turn 2. That's the idea when you go to Pocono. Try to clear them before you get into the corner, because each and every one of these 3 turns on the racetrack is so tight to run side by side on. And you'll see me try to dive it in there to make a pass, but it's very hard to get it to stick as we try to do that on Bowman going into turn 3, looking. But he's going to hold us off for now. Go all the way down to the bottom now, trying to break the draft. And now we're going to pull up right alongside the 17 of Stenhouse for 10th. Into turn number 1, and he'll give up the position pretty easily. But now he's going to try a crossover move. He beats us back to the gas, and here comes Stenhouse right back. But couldn't get enough of a run as he's going to be blocked off now. Last time we were at Pocono earlier this season, there was only one caution in the race, and it came right about the halfway mark on lap 79 of 160 in stage number 2. We are only on lap 10, but we have not had a caution yet today. The way we're spaced out right now, you never know. We could see more of the same again. So we go all the way to the bottom again to break the draft. 3 wide now. Trying to clear those guys back to the top now before we get to Tyler Reddick. 3 wide into turn 1, a deep dive. Now they're 3 wide behind us, having to get out of the gas into the wall. And all the positions we just gained were lost that quickly, as now Eric Jones trying to side draft to get right back around us. A big mistake off of turn 1, taking that dive 3 wide. So hard to hold the corners like that. Your best chance to take turn 1 3 wide's on the restart, but that's about it. And out 3 wide into 3 on Reddick and Larson for 7th. Got to clear Larson, trying to stay alongside of the 31, and now here comes Larson to the bottom. He's not done yet. Big enough run now behind Reddick will clear him. Now we're finally up to 7th. And all alone into turn 1 as we try to run Kurt Busch down, who is now just in front of us. And be careful getting those left sides on the apron. We saw how loose we were last time we raced here when that was the case. 14.5 seconds behind Harvick as we clear Kurt Busch for 6th before we get into turn 2. You would think 6th place, not too bad. We're moving up through the field quick. From the rear to the 6th spot in 12 laps, it's not too bad. But 14.5 seconds off the lead is insane. Harvick almost in lap traffic already. On a 2.5 mile racetrack, he is going to be tough to beat today. No doubt about it. So we ride along now, we'll alternate through the cameras for the first time in this one. My original plan coming into this race was the same plan I had the first time we came to Pocono, and to pit halfway through the stages, but I just don't know about that this time around. I was able to pit from the lead by doing that last time, but we're so far behind Kevin Harvick already. I don't think we're going to have to be able to pull off that same strategy and still come out on the lead lap. That 4 car is fast. Jimmy Johnson having a pretty solid run in 5th right now. Remember, again, he came in 30 points behind Eric Almirola for the last spot to get into the playoffs coming into today. So having a top 5 run currently in the early going into this race. He's looking for stage points early. He's looking to cut into that deficit. And good old 7 time looking to get back in the playoffs once again after missing last season. We should get around him for 5th, if I had to guess, probably next lap, because we're closing in on him quite a bit. But we have another 8.5 seconds before we even catch the 4th place driver of Denny Hamlin. Top 4 just in another league, especially Kevin Harvick. Closed in on Johnson quite a bit there into turn 1. Beating him back to the gas now, looking to the outside of Jimmy Johnson. Down the straightaway as we are easily going to get around him without a fight. And that'll move us up to 5th. Tire wear pretty equal on both the left sides and the right sides, and caution is going to fly. So caution is out for the first time in this race. That'll bunch the field back up for the restart. Michael McDowell hitting pit road, Austin Dillon, Brendan Gaughan, Landon Castle, McMurray, and BJ McLeod, who will get the free pass, along with all the drivers. One lap down will pit as well. So caution is out for the first time today. Lap number 16. We can make it on fuel to the end of the stage, so I'm going to pit now. 4 tires. We got some other drivers pitting as well, so I think that's just a smart thing to do here, knowing that they can make it on fuel, so we're going to try to make it also. We'll try to drive through the field on fresh tires now. The green flag back in the air once again at Pocono after the first caution of the race. 32 laps to go in stage 1. Didn't necessarily take off on the restart, but not looking too bad. To the outside, into the wall, into turn 1. That car did not want to turn. Trying to squeeze around these guys on older tires, on fresher tires. We're just kind of boxed in right now. Now we're 3 wide middle. Now we're finally down to the inside before we get into turn 2. Pocono known for as wide of a racetrack as it is, having crazy restarts, and we're getting through the field fairly quickly on these 4 fresh Goodyears. And honestly, whether we could have made it or not on fuel to the end, I think it was going to be the smarter decision to take the fresh tires. Going all the way down to the apron. Well, not the apron, but to the inside of the racetrack. We're moving up through the field quite easily right now. Harvick has led every lap in this race so far. Highest position we have ran in this race is 5th. But I would have to assume if we stay green for at least a decent amount of time, we should be able to take the lead on this tire run. Can't quite clear Chase Elliott yet as we try to break away from anybody in the draft. Trying to keep Chase Elliott from side drafting us down to the inside of the track. Back up, caution out again. Second caution of the race. And this one comes on lap 21 after only running a couple laps under green. So we went from having 1 caution the entire race during the first Pocono race to now here in the second race having 2 cautions in the first 20 laps. We got some more cars hitting pit road. David Reagan, Matt Tiff, Joey Gase. And this time Corey LaJoie will get the free pass. Kligerman will be the only driver 1 lap down. We're going to stay out of the pits here. We can still make it to the end. So here we go again. Another restart, green flag back in the air. Harvick leads the field to the green one more time, 27 to go in the stage. And now you start to wonder, can these guys make it on fuel to the end of the stage? The pit window was about 40 laps. So we were going to be, contact with Larson there. 3 wide. We've ran about 7 laps of caution time. 6 to 7 laps. So they're looking at being about 3 to 4 laps short still. But if we get 1 more caution, they might not even have to pit in this opening stage. They might be able to make it on fuel, which is why they're staying out now. I think we might have just nicked the wall a little bit that time as we look to the outside of Logano now into turn 3. Another solid restart on the outside in turn 3 there. We'll try to run him right back down again. Big dive to the inside. Into turn 1 on Kyle Busch. Can't clear the 18 yet. He is still there trying to pull us back now. And here comes Logano to the inside. Looking to make it 3 wide for third. Not going to happen. Locking him way off. As we clear Kyle Busch. Now going for second on Eric Jones into turn 2. Driving it in deep. Jones there. Still side by side. Contact as we bounce off one another. Side. Harvick was led every lap so far in the race, in danger of losing the lead with us on fresher tires. A caution that came out a little bit ago definitely helped bunch the field back up a second time. In a big run now, going into turn 2 to the inside of Harvick for the lead. Slide job, gonna pull up in front of him. Into the gas too soon, almost into the wall. Harvick crosses us back over and holds on to the lead. Went for the home run there, did not work. Now we'll have to try to get him back into turn 1. So Harvick continues to lead, at least for now. To the inside. Big run, nice little side draft. We're going to clear Harvick before we get into turn 1 now. Car getting a little tight again. And here he comes another time. Barely going to block him off, and now he tries to go to the outside. He is there. It's amazing what a fight Harvick is holding on to with about 15 lap older tires. He's got very, very good speed in that race car. Hold him clear through turn 2. Now trying to do the same in turn 3. We're going to lead our first lap of the race off of turn 3 this time. It took until lap 28, but we led our first lap of the race. It also took fresh tires to do so. I don't know though, I seriously don't feel confident with the race car we've got. It loosens up as the run goes on, definitely gets faster. But Kevin Harvick is on such another level compared to the rest of the field that he is going to be hard to pass when everybody's on equal tires. But it's a good thing we've got the track position now. This running order could be shaken up quite a bit before the end of the stage if those leaders do have to pit. Again, I still think they're about 3 to 4 laps short on fuel. If we get one more caution, they might be able to make it. It also depends, obviously, on how much fuel they're burning. Burn quite a bit here at Pocono, of course, with it being a 2.5 mile racetrack. So yes, we're obviously going to pull away because of the fresher tires. I'll take the stage win if it's given to us here. But I just don't have the confidence in the race car right now that we can hang with at least the top 4. And that'll just be something interesting to see over the course of this race. pretty quiet right now here on this very long 2.5 mile track. It looks like Harvick is hitting pit road now. He's going to try to short pit. Harvick not going to risk trying to run it to the end of the stage. And we actually have more than just Kevin Harvick on pit road currently, so a little pit strategy out of the rest of the leaders here. Not trying to bank on getting another caution. But we do have quite a bit of guys that did not pit who are still staying out. Kurt Busch now cycles into second, and maybe Johnson's going to try to risk it. He needs the points on Eric Almirola. It needs a difference maker. He came in 30 behind the cut line coming into this race. Again, only after, I should say after this race, we're only got... After this race, we're only going to have about 5 races left before the playoffs. So he is on the bubble, obviously, on the outside looking in. He doesn't want to be in a must-win situation. So maybe he tries a little pit strategy and tries to get it done that way. So we're going to get these guys a lap down right now. And you see Almirola, we just passed. Oh, we caught Keselowski in a terrible spot there. Going into turn 1. These guys are going to be a lot quicker than us now. On about 10 lap fresher tires. So we're probably not even going to be able to catch the two of Keselowski once he gets back up to speed. Yeah, the only guys that are still staying out for right now are all the drivers that had already pit. Matt Tiff, Joey Gase, Ryan Newman, Austin Dillon, all those guys already hit pit road. And look at Keselowski pull us off of turn number 3 down the Long Pond straightaway. As we go to put more drivers a lap down now. Going into turn 1, we'll get around Keselowski. Oh man, Brad caught Reddick in a bad spot now. So we've got some faster cars behind us that are probably going to get around us pretty soon, if I had to guess. Joey Gase now up to second. Definitely could have a unique running order by the end of this stage. Harvick's got a fast car. Obviously, he's got the fastest car in the field probably today. And I would probably argue that his car is faster than mine. Having 10 lap fresher tires, can he actually run us down? He had a 14.5 second lead on us before that first caution of the race, and that was with him having equal tires as those 10 lap fresher tires is going to be a huge difference. Try to hold off Ricky Stenhouse here. We're not going to battle Stenhouse too hard. If he gets to the inside of us, we'll let him go. And there he goes, off of turn 1. He takes it. We're just going to give him his lap back. Not going to worry about battling him too hard. So he clears us before we get into turn 2. Yeah, that definitely wasn't worth the risk there. Of course, there we still got Eric Almirola. It's hard to tell for sure back there who else is behind him. I want to say Chase Elliott, but I could be wrong on that. Just ran our fastest lap of the race, even with Stenhouse passed us there, 54.709. Still about a second off of our fastest lap time ever here at Pocono. We just do not have the car that we had when we came here earlier this season and ended up getting the win that day. Stenhouse doesn't even look that, or sorry, not Stenhouse, but Keselowski doesn't even look that fast in the 2 car, because we're kind of catching him once again here. Stenhouse just passed him. We get to the inside of Keselowski. $15 laps to go in the stage, and now we just ran an even faster lap, 54.344. This car is definitely getting quicker the more laps on the tires. Believe it or not. I mean, look at that. We got 69% on the left and right front. Not burning the tires up too bad. They're actually running fairly decent lap times. I think that's why we're even hanging with these guys on fresher tires. So this is a big moment of the race, trying to put as many of these guys a lap down before the end of stage 1. So it looks like we might have had somebody blowing up down on pit road there that we just passed as well. Man, 54.064 that last lap. This car is definitely getting quicker. More laps on the tires. It's so weird though that the car is getting that much faster over the course of the long run compared to when we're on that short run. Very unique. See if we can get down into the 53-second lap barrier. That'd be pretty cool. We can get that done. Trying to get a draft off of Corey LaJoy right now. Nope, about 0.3 of a second slower than what we were the lap prior. Harvick all the way up to 4th again. Even after pitting, it looks like he's probably going to finish at least 2nd in the stage. That's just amazing. Go all the way to the inside. We're going to put McMurray and Tyler Reddick a lap down there. Looks like Jimmy Johnson's the next driver that we have to catch. Oh, very heavy lap traffic coming up. A lot of slower cars going to be involved here. Yeah, very, very heavy lap traffic going into turn 2. The inside of Johnson as he, in fact, just goes to the outside of BJ McLeod. And blows right past him. Jimmy trying to pass these guys, not only for position, trying to get stage points, and trying to stay on the lead lap. Big, big traffic now off of turn 3, 4 wide down the front stretch. Trying to beat all these guys going into turn 1. Still to the outside is Eric Jones. As we close in on Austin Dillon in 8th. This is a big moment in this race. Only 7 cars on the lead lap now. Despite the fact you can see on the track map how far ahead Harvick is compared to us. On the fresher tires, and he's still gaining time, but we have a big enough lead. If we stay green to the end of the stage, we will win stage 1. We've already had 2 cautions in this race, so just gotta hope for the best at this point. Eric Jones, first driver, 1 lap down right now. Johnson put in a very tough spot as he is a lap down currently. He wants to get that free pass back. He needs the points today on Almirola. He's already beating him position-wise, and you see Jimmy back there currently in the 9th spot, so he would get 2 stage points, but he's trying to run down Eric Jones to be that first driver 1 lap down. Got a couple more cars on the lead lap in front of us. Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch running 6th and 7th. Joey Gase and Matt Tift will probably catch before the end of the stage as well if we've got enough laps. Yeah, we got 10 to go. Should catch him. So Larson pulls us through turn 3. It does seem like turn 2 is our best corner on the racetrack. And we're going to get around Larson down the long pond straightaway with 9 to go in the stage. So now Johnson, Eric Jones trying to catch not only Larson, but maybe even Kyle Busch real shortly here. Seems like we got the straightaway speed in the car, but we're kind of lacking the speed in the corners. Tipped is going to go a lap down. Joey Gase not too far ahead of Kyle Busch. As we get to the inside of the 18, off of turn 2, big side draft. Down to the inside, he's clear before we get into 3. And as I mentioned, Joey Gase in 4th. He's going to go a lap down. He's probably going to lose some spots. So the running order doesn't look like it's going to be shaken up much by the end of the stage. Oh wow, Busch just followed me to the top there. I mean, if we can catch Harvick and Hamlin, that would be nice, but they're not in enough lap traffic. I just don't see it happening. Especially on Harvick, he is so fast today. I'm just amazed at the fact of how quick this car is on old tires. And we are running faster laps than what we were at the very beginning of the run. She's helping us out a ton. That goes to show how much we struggle in the first 20 laps of a tire stint. That caution coming out, helping us kind of short pit here in this stage. On lap 15, that was huge. Knew we were going to be 5 laps to the good on fuel, and then we got another caution. That was going to help us make it as well. So we can see Denny Hamlin and Harvick way up there just getting into turn 2. Harvick's off of turn 2 now. We're definitely not going to catch him. We've only got 6 laps to go when we get to the line this time. I'm just hoping we stay green at this point, so we can keep the stage locked up and not have to battle them. Six to go. Harvick does have quite a bit of lap traffic ahead of him, though. Boy, wouldn't that be something. Not gonna lie, this has been a very strange race to this point. Cautions have thrown this race upside down and through a loop in the early going. And that's another thing too. If Harvick stays on the lead lap to the end of the stage, I don't think anybody's going to get around him to get his lap back, but you're going to see a lot of guys get around me to get the lap back. So it might actually be kind of beneficial to have Harvick finish on the lead lap against us, but have everybody else be a lap down. Kyle Busch in the free pass position right now. He's hoping we do not catch Denny Hamlin before the end of stage 1, because there is no chance Kyle Busch will have of catching Denny. He is way too far behind and nowhere near as fast as the 11. Definitely closing in on both of them. Harvick's in lap traffic, though. That's why we're closing in on him as quick as we are. Hamlin, I just did not think we were going to run him down. We've got 4 to go, and he's only a couple seconds ahead of us. Oh boy, really loose getting into turn 1 that time. And now Hamlin has caught lap traffic. Hamlin in danger of going a lap down. 3 to go at the line. All the way down to the inside. We're going to pull up easily in front of him. Denny Hamlin is now 1 lap down, and Harvick, again, being caught up in very heavy lap traffic right now, is being run down as well. Ooh. Harvick trying to go to the outside now through turn 2. It's the big moment in this race. Can he stay on the lead lap? Oh, contact with Buescher. Stuck together through turn 3 as Harvick tries to get away. 2 to go. That was a big moment there for a second. Man, Truex back at 32nd right now. What is wrong with him today? Multiple laps down. No lap cars in front of Harvick. But now we're in his draft as we're closing in on him going into turn 2. Really loose, trying to get the car to stick to the bottom of the track. We are there. Side draft now. Trying to get away from him into turn 3. Harvick will go a lap down. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. Stage number 1 here at Pocono. So it looks like Harvick will get the free pass here. This could definitely help us win stage 2, but it doesn't mean this race is over by any means. We'll still have 110 to go. Once the strategy goes back to normal to start stage 2, you're going to see a lot of guys get around us on the restart. You're going to see Kevin Harvick try to charge from the rear of the field to the front to get around us. He'll be faster for about the first 20 laps. Blaney to the line. Ryan Blaney wins stage 1 at Pocono. And a very strange opening stage to start this race, to say the least. Sorry, I didn't see any comments. For some reason, never got any notifications. LC Gaming, when you use the wheel, what wheel do I use? I don't know. It's a standard steering wheel for the PlayStation 4 that I have. I am not sure exactly what it is. I am not entirely sure what it is. What system am I playing on, Ron? I am playing on a PS4 as I do every other race when I'm on this channel. Alright, so I got the comment section on now. So I'm being notified, so here we go. Green flag in the air. 47 laps to start, stage number 2 here as we pull in front of Hamlin. Got a nice little restart, but probably going to see guys get around us. If they get around us and get a quick yellow, they're all back on the lead lap. That would be the worst thing for us. As you see already, Denny Hamlin charging to the outside. He'll get back on the lead lap easily. We'll hold them off as long as we can. It looked like Johnson still finished well inside the top 10 at the end of stage 1, so that's pretty good. Best thing for us is if we stay caution-free through this stage, be our best chance to at least get the win on Harvick. Washing way up the track. 3 wide now underneath us. This car is so bad through the first 20 laps of a run. Already the top 9 back on the lead lap again. And now here comes Bowman to the inside. I can just imagine Harvick is going to catch us in no time. He's 3 seconds off. Still got quite a few cars in between us, but we are dropping back pretty quickly right now. Getting a nice pull off our teammate Keselowski to still stay in front of Chase Elliott for right now. Now we're going to look back to the inside of Keselowski going into turn 3. But he beats us back to the accelerator. We try to hold off Elliott and Stenhouse once again. So look at even Denny Hamlin's interval, and he is nowhere near as fast as Kevin Harvick. He has already pulled us by 3 or 4 seconds in the first couple laps since he got around us and has the clean air out in front of the field. How much of a difference that makes. Interval-wise, we're pulling away from Harvick, yes, but obviously he's got a lot more traffic to catch up to us, which is going to help quite a bit. Oh, Stenhouse just beat us to the inside now. He is there, trying to use the pull off of Keselowski and side draft the 17. Hopefully we can beat him into turn 1. And it looks like we will. But now Ricky looking back to the inside again as we hold him off. Chase Elliott gaining more ground on the back of the 17 one more time. Letting it all hang out through turn 2 there. And here comes Stenhouse again. He is there. But again, about halfway down the straightaway, we get enough of a pull off of the car in front of us. That's another thing here at Pocono. Such long straightaways, especially on the Long Pond straightaway. It's the longest straightaway in NASCAR. You can get such a big run by just staying in the draft. As we are right here. He pulls out of line and he can't quite complete the pass because of the cars ahead of us. It has to go with the airflow, obviously, too. Now we get to the inside of Keselowski, and we're probably not going to get around him because now he's going to get a pole. And he beat us back to the gas too, so that helps. And again, here comes Stenhouse. To the inside, we're going to clear Keselowski now to the inside of Alex Bowman going into turn 1. And at the pull-in line right behind him, Stenhouse just made the pass on the 2. Oh boy. Man, Bowman had a huge pull at the side draft off of turn 3 there. Almost got in the side of him. So we saw we peaked out right about an 8-second lead on Harvick. He has closed in about 7.5 seconds, so he definitely doesn't have as much traffic in front of him as he did. A little push to the back of Bowman. That'll slow us down a little bit too. So what tracks have I been to in person? You've been to Richmond, Talladega, Pocono. I have not been to either one of those 3 tracks. I have been traveling quite a bit, pretty much since the time I graduated high school, that following summer, I started traveling the tracks. So from then on, this will be the 3rd season in which I have traveled to, or will be traveling to a bunch of different racetracks. Hopefully, when fans can get back to the track as soon as possible, that would be perfect. Tracks I've gone to, Michigan's my home track. I go there twice a year for both races. First time I went there, I was, man, can't quite remember exactly what year it was. I want to say it was 2015. Matt Kenseth got the win. I do remember that. He started on the pole, led a lot of laps, but it was a really fun experience. Sat down in turn 1. But anyway, yeah, so that was the first race I went to, and then obviously the summer after I graduated, that was the second race I'd ever been to. I went back to Michigan in June, and I was like, you know what, it'd be cool to go to a different track. So I went to Kentucky, because that was the next closest track to me. It was about a 3.5-hour drive. I went there with a buddy of mine who had never been to a NASCAR race before, but he was interested in it. So I was like, yeah, hey, let's go down. Let's spend the whole Saturday down there. I went down early in the morning. It was a night race, of course. So, went down to Kentucky, and I was like, wow, that was a lot of fun. I'd like to go to more tracks. So obviously then I went back to Michigan in August, and that was like, I want to hit another new track for the end of the year. So I went to Indianapolis for the Brickyard 400 during that season. So I went to 4 races that year, 3 different tracks, and I'm like, I can't wait for next year, because I had a really nice job, still do have a nice job, where I've been saving a lot of money, and I don't spend it anywhere. So I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna spend it, I'm gonna spend it on traveling, and I don't take flights, and I only need a hotel room for a couple nights. So outside the hotel room and getting a ticket for a pretty good price every time, I don't have to do it. Don't have to spend a lot of money. So then I went to, last season alone, I went to Atlanta, second race of the season. Then obviously back to Michigan in June. And then I went to Chicagoland at the end of the month. Then I went to Watkins Glen with my sister at the beginning of August. That next week after Watkins Glen, when I came back home, Michigan was the next weekend. So then I went back to Michigan. And we finished out the year. I went to the Charlotte Roval last year as well. So I've been to 8 different tracks now, if I'm counting right. Michigan, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Atlanta, Chicagoland, Watkins Glen, Charlotte Roval. 7 tracks. Been to 7 tracks. And I planned on going to the Coke 600 this year to go to Charlotte. That would have been my 8th track. Looks like they're going to race, but it's all up in the air as whether or not fans are going to go. And I have a bad feeling they're not going to go. Oh man, this is going to get tight off in turn 1. 3 wide. Johnson and Reddick trying to split us. Put Jimmy a lap down. Now we're going to put Reddick a lap down and clear them both before we get into turn 2. They're still side by side behind us. So yeah, that is... I would see, and when I fell in love with traveling to different tracks, my goal is to hit every single Cup Series racetrack once. And then my ultimate goal at the end of it, saving a lot of money in the long run, is to literally go race by race by race over the course of the season and visit every track in the same year one more time. That's my bucket list, my ultimate bucket list item. But yeah, I'm gonna have a video at some point in time whenever fans can go back to the track on what tracks I'm going to go to this year. I planned from way back this winter that the Coke 600 was going to be the first race I was going to go to this year. So I haven't missed out on any opportunities yet because of scheduling or rescheduling. So I'm thankful for that, because it looked like most of the tracks I was going to hit was going to be more towards the end of the season anyway. But I was going to hit a couple in the summer months, obviously, with the 2 Michigan races again. But it's a revised schedule coming out. I'd love to go back to Indianapolis again this year, especially with the road course being for the Xfinity race, and now the Indy Grand Prix for IndyCar is going to be there the same weekend, so I would actually like to go back to Indy this year too, but yeah, I'll have more on that going forward. Yeah, I definitely want to go to Daytona someday. I mean, there's a lot of great racetracks I haven't been to. A lot of the tracks I've been to now haven't been as big of races as far as like prestigious events go. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is probably the best track I've been to so far. I'd love to go there for the Indy 500 someday, but yeah, we still got a while. Keenan, I gotta admit, NASCAR Heat 4, pretty good game. Definitely the best of the NASCAR Heat games, so if you played any of the other ones, I wouldn't even take those into consideration when playing this game, to be quite honest. But glad you could make it here today as well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the course of this race. I have no clue what has happened, really. I'm zoned out into talking about my traveling stories over the last 5 laps or so. So, where we're at right now, we still got 5 drivers on the lead lap. Of course, the cars we are passing right now are the guys that got around us on the restart. Eric Jones going to go lap down now, so 4 drivers on the lead lap. But Kevin Harvick was running us down there for a little bit. He's about 6 seconds off the lead now. Harvick looking for a second win of the season. Obviously, he won at Bristol to get into the playoffs earlier this year. And looking at a good point so far. Still got a little ways to go. 33 laps left in stage 2. 6-second lead on the 4 of Harvick. Not too many lap cars in between us anymore, but we're at that point in the run where our runs are starting to even out with each other. But obviously we still have to pit before the end of the stage, so we'll have to see how the pit strategy will come into play. You only run about 40 laps on a full tank of fuel. Now Kyle Busch about to go a lap down here as well. Field's getting really spread out now. You can see that Denny Hamlin, the driver currently in the cleanest air from the restart, is about to catch the rear of the field to this point. Again, thanks for everybody joining again here in the late morning hours, at least on the East Coast. There's no chance we're going to put Kevin Harvick a lap down this stage unless cautions start to fall and it starts splitting the strategy up like crazy. Kind of like we saw in stage 1, which is why so many guys went a lap down, because we don't have that kind of a car. It's still tough to say, even on a longer run, who's got a faster car between me and Harvick. It's just he's been caught up in traffic, so we haven't quite been equal with each other on a long enough run as far as tires and everything else goes, as far as the actual track positioning. I think the first real time we're going to see that is either if we get a caution before the end of the stage and we both pit under that caution, or it's going to be at the start of stage 3. It's going to happen before the end of this race for sure, and that's going to be the real turning point on whether or not we're going to be able to run him down and how far ahead he can get ahead of us in that final stage. Of course, final stage is going to be 10 laps longer, 60 laps instead of 50 like these first 2 stages. So we saw them split the run in half last time. If they do that this time, their pit window, or I should say their pit strategy, is going to open up here probably in about 10 laps or so. It's probably what we're going to be looking at. We're closing in on halfway through stage 2 in this race, and we're closing in on halfway through this race in general. In another 10 laps, we'll be halfway done here today at Pocono. Flying by all the back marker cars now at the rear of the field here. Oh boy, really loose there on the curbing through turn 3. It easily wanted the car to spin out. That's another thing too. Obviously, if I can't go to the Coke 600 this year, if they don't allow fans, that'll just open me up to go to a different track this year I wasn't originally planning on going to. Because I'm still going to plan on hitting about 4 or 5 different tracks this season at some point in time. So if that means they don't start letting fans at the track until July, for instance, and I haven't gone to a race yet, then I'm going to 4 to 5 races at the end of the, within the last or second half of the season. I should, if I have enough time, be able to retract the vacation days for all the tracks I have put in already, because I've already got the vacation days set for my work. But I should be able to easily retract them and then put them in on either rescheduled days or other dates for other tracks to go to. So I'll definitely be bringing out vlogs from the race weekend at the track and the journey down there, because obviously I drive to every track, so that'll be more added content for the channel going forward. We got 27 to go now. Huge clump of lap cars there. We're gonna blow right by all 4 of them. So just kind of paying attention to that Ford car of Kevin Harvick. When is he gonna hit pit road? Pit window has been open for a while now to make it to the end of the stage, but I'm sure, just like the last race at Pocono, just like stage 1 went so far today, that the leaders are probably gonna end up pitting about halfway through the stage. Not sure what that means for my strategy. I might try to do something different, maybe try to trap them a lap down again and stay out of the pits as long as I can before hitting pit road. I think that might be the best option. Especially because we have this big of a lead. I think we could afford to do something different like that. Because the rate we're running right now, we should be able to make it to about 7 to 9 laps to go, somewhere in that range before we have to hit pit road, if we tried to run as long as we can and get the most out of our fuel. Haven't worn the tires out bad at all today. We've been doing a lot better job of that over the last few races. Pretty much since the time we went to Michigan, or even the first Pocono race for that matter. Haven't really had to worry about tire wear as much, even on tracks that are kind of more aggressive on tire wear, like Pocono can be at times. How flat it is. New Hampshire in the last race did pretty well there. Still can't get over the fact how Martin Truex Jr. is in the 28th position. He is just having a very, very rough day today. One of the drivers that doesn't have a win. He's looking good on points coming into this race. So as stated earlier in the broadcast, as far as the playoff picture goes, we got 5 races left in the regular season before the playoffs. We have a big lead for the regular season championship. Obviously, the sooner we can get that locked up, the better. So we can just focus even more on just flat out winning races to get more playoff points. More stage wins, of course, as we have been doing pretty much since we won the Daytona 500, but even more so now that we're getting closer to the playoffs. So the playoff bubble looked like this. Eric Almirola was the last driver on points on the inside of the cut line. He had a 30-point advantage on Jimmy Johnson coming into the race. Johnson's been running 5 to 10 spots higher than him pretty much all race long. So that's about 5 to 10 points there. Plus, Jimmy Johnson finished 6th in stage 1. So already outscored him by 5 stage points to this, or 5 points already today to this point in the race. If Jimmy Johnson finishes and gets stage points here in stage 2 again as well, that could be a very, very big day for Jimmy Johnson to move closer to the cut line going into the next race at Watkins Glen tomorrow. That race will be starting at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the morning once again. So 7 a.m. Pacific and 9 a.m. Central, just like the start of this race was. It'll be the second and final road course race of the regular season for us. And the second of 3 road course races on the entire season. And we will be using the steering wheel for that race tomorrow. So that'll get hectic. See how loose the car is on the longer run here. But although it is this loose, it is pretty fast at the same time. Gotta be honest, at the start of this race, I had no clue I was gonna lead this many laps in this race. But again, come final stage, it's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna win this race. Because although you say, well, obviously it's gonna be you because of how many laps you've led and how dominant it's been, but again, Kevin Harvick has a fast car. He just hasn't restarted up towards the front of the field with me since the start of the race. And obviously he started on the pole, but we started at the rear of the field, and that's how he was able to lead the first 27 laps of the race before we took the lead. So Blaney and Harvick, the only 2 drivers to lead laps in this race so far, with us leading the most at just over 50 laps. When we get to the start-finish line next time by, we will hit the halfway mark in this race. Cross flags will be in the air. William Byron also started at the rear of the field today. He's driven up to 15th. He's not having a bad day. Hasn't gotten any stage points, and he obviously came in well on the outside of the point standings looking in on the cut line, so he might be in a must-win situation anyway. Obviously, he runs pretty good on road courses, so say Watkins Glen could probably be a good race for him. About a 30.5-second lead with 20 laps to go in the stage, so we are well past the halfway point in stage number 2. And the leaders still have not pit yet. How much longer will they wait? Or will Harvick, say, try to just run it to the very end as we are right now? We did not pit that time by. If we get a caution at any point in time before the end of the stage 2, that's probably going to cost us a shot at the stage win. We had 2 cautions in stage 1. Known so far to this point in stage 2. Both cautions came in the first 20 laps of the race also. So here's Eric Almirola up in front of us. He's about to go 2 laps down. We'll get to see exactly what position he's in and compare that to Jimmy Johnson, assuming Jimmy is still inside the top 10. So there's Almirola in 13th. And he is now 2 laps down. That is going to be tough to come back from here today. And that'll help Johnson out quite a bit. Assuming Johnson can remain 1 lap down in whatever position he's at currently on the racetrack. Keselowski will go 2 laps down now. Alex Bowman just in front of us as we go to the outside into turn 1 on him. So sketchy running side by side these corners with as loose as the car is this late in the run. Definitely the furthest we have gone on tire wear this entire race to this point. We got 39% on the right front and the left front is at 41. And actually that right rear tire, because of how much we've been sliding lately, is at 39% as well on the right rear. But again, tire's not going to matter too much in the sense that we've taken care of them well and they will go the entire fuel run. We can only make it at the most another 9 laps before we have to hit pit road. Now 8 laps. So yeah, it's looking like we're about 9 laps short exactly on fuel to the end of the stage. Oh, loose going into turn 1, locking it down. Having to downshift to 3rd gear. Very sketchy moment there for a second. Got too much of the car on the apron into turn 1. Never lost track position at all, but we did lose some time to Kevin Harvick. Who still has not pit. He went from 37 seconds back to 34.5 seconds last lap. He definitely capitalized on it. About 2.5 seconds worth of time. Heck of a save to keep the car from spinning though as we stay green here in stage number 2. Harvick stayed out of the pits that last lap once again. Ooh, just into the back of McDowell through turn 3. Trying to get to the inside of Ryan Truex, pinned down on the curbing through turn 3 as we try to get around him. Stenhouse tried to go to the outside as well, probably why it got as tight as it did. So we were actually running 3 wide there for a moment. I think Harvick's just committed with running second at this point. So again, he has not hit pit road to try any sort of strategy. Probably just trying to stay on the lead lap to this point. Jimmy Johnson currently in 9th place. He's about to go 2 laps down as we run. Now he really needs it to stay green to the end of the stage and hope that he can get his lap back, one of his laps back here before the end of the stage. Plus, you never know, you might see some guys take the wave around to start the final stage of the race as well. With everybody staying out here, pitting so much later in stage 2 than what they did in stage 1. To the inside, a little contact with Tyler Reddick. Now he's going to go another lap down in 8th. So looks like we're only going to be able to make it a couple more laps on fuel. So the right rear is actually wearing out more than the right front now. 25%. Definitely going to stay out this time by. We got to make sure we do not speed onto pit road this time like we did at New Hampshire yesterday. Gotta take it kind of easy if we can here. $11 to go now. Larson goes another lap down. Kurt Busch is about to go another lap down into turn 1. Trying to beat them all into the corner, and we will. So as we get close on fuel, still not quite determined on whether or not I'm going to pit this lap or the following lap. No, we're going to pit this time. Not going to risk it one more lap in case we run out of fuel. So we're going to pit this time. We'll have 10 laps to go in stage 2 by the time we come out of the pits as we try to get the car back down here. 55 miles an hour as we get onto pit road easily that time. Not going to worry about damage repair. Take 4 fresh tires. We'll fill the tank up full. 10 laps to go at Pocono in stage number 2. First green flag pit stop for us on the day. Obviously, a lot of the other drivers have already taken one green flag stop back in stage 1, but we did not. Pitting under the caution. .4 pit stop, not too bad. We get back up onto the track. Harvick also hitting pit road this time. He is on pit road currently as he tries to find his pit box. And a lot more drivers to follow. So how quick of a stop are we going to have compared to Harvick here, who is just rolling? Oh, cut turn 3 way too deep there. Harvick obviously has to stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage. He will be faster than us for now. And yeah, he's off of pit road. He's just rolling into turn 1 trying to get up to speed. We are up to speed down the Long Pond straightaway, but I don't think we're going to catch him. Kind of messed up turn 3 too. That didn't help. So the top 5, or at least 3rd through 5th, is still 1 lap down. So we didn't catch any of those guys either. We still got some cars on pit road currently as well. And we still have more drivers hitting pit road off of turn 3. David Reagan, Clint Boyer ahead of us. Saw Reagan locking the tires up, trying not to speed onto pit road. We have 8 laps left. There you see Joey Logano and Kyle Busch. Up ahead. So Harvick is closing in. Again, we got a big enough lead. We shouldn't have to worry about it. How many people would miss the pit box if you had to manually stop and go? That would be difficult, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, iRacing, you have a spotter kind of helping you too. So I would assume if that was the case in the game, you'd have a spotter telling you 3, 2, 1, and then you'd have to dive onto pit road. So that'd make it a little bit easier, but it still wouldn't be necessarily easy. That'd be a new challenge to the game. But honestly, as far as like an actual NASCAR game, I don't remember that being an option. So I doubt we would ever have to worry about that necessarily. I'd like to see the actual live pit stops under caution again, though. That was a pretty cool feature in the older EA Sports games. As Kyle Larson in 6th place is going to unlap himself right now. You see Kurt Busch not too far behind us as well. So Larson trying to remain 1 lap down to the end of the stage now. Can he hold on? We look back to the inside of him going into turn 3. Side draft now. Nope, can't quite hold on. We were 44.5 seconds ahead of Harvick at the end of the green flag stops. In 4 laps, Kevin Harvick has literally closed 7 seconds on the race lead. In 4 laps. See, that kind of stat right there is scaring me for when we go to the final stage. He's going to line up right alongside of us because he's going to pull way ahead of us. And then it's going to be a matter on the second half of a tire run to try and run him back down before we hit pit road again for a green flag stop in stage 3. It's now Kurt Busch looking to the top side. He's got Austin Dillon coming up, but Dillon pulls down right in front of us. Kurt Busch is going to get his lap back. And oh, too deep of a dive to turn 3 there. That slowed us up as well. 4 laps to go in stage 2. Jimmy Johnson, I believe, is the next driver 2 laps down to have to try and get one of his laps back. Can he do it? In the playoff bubble he is in, it looks like he's going to get stage points. Oh, almost in the wall. I had to get on the brakes off the exit of the corner. We'll try to make sure we stay in front of Austin Dillon. That'll allow Johnson to close the gap a little bit more. No free pass for Jimmy. He's 2 laps down. Denny Hamlin will get the free pass as of right now at the end of the stage. In 3rd, Johnson strictly trying to get his lap back before the end of the stage to at least keep himself in somewhat of a contention to have a solid run and still finish possibly in the top 5. Remember, he was running 5th earlier in the race. So it wouldn't be impossible for him to have that run. He needs it. He's only about 4 or 5 spots ahead of Almirola. But he would like to gain more points than just that here today. Finished 6th back in stage 1. He's currently in 8th. We'll have 2 laps to go at the line. Caution. Caution is out. That is going to hurt Jimmy. He's stuck 2 laps down. He'll finish in 9th, actually, as Tyler Reddick will get the 8th spot. Did not see Reddick back there. So that will end the stage, but it looks like we got drivers taking the wave around here. So caution comes out early. We got to stay on the same strategy as Harvick, though. Four fresh tires. So Ryan Blaney wins stage 2 under caution. As we get our 3rd caution of the race with 63 to go at the time. We'll have 59 laps to go to start here. 7 drivers will restart on the lead lap because of taking the wave around. Johnson took the wave around 2 laps down as well, along with a lot of those guys. So me and Harvick on fresh Goodyears to start the final stage. This is the battle we have waited over 100 laps to see. Blaney, Harvick, 1v1 to start the final stage. 59 laps to decide the winner of the race. Harvick trying to close in on the outside already. Contact with the leaders through turns 1 and 2 as we try to hold on, but Harvick just a power move to the outside as he tries to drive away now. Kevin Harvick back to the lead for the first time since lap number 27. But again, we are the only 2 drivers to lead laps in this race. And I believe Daniel Hemrick had hit pit road too, because he's staying with us and he's probably going to get around us very shortly. Trying to break the draft there with the 8 car. Keep him from gaining much ground on us. I'd like to keep him behind us. It's the perfect scenario, though, to see how far ahead Harvick will pull with the clean air now. He caught up 9 seconds in 9 laps. At the end of the last stage. Actually 7 laps because we didn't even run the last 2 laps. It's crazy. So we're keeping Daniel Hemrick behind us for now. It's like he was there for the first lap and we're slowly pulling him back away from him. But now we messed up turn 1. Ran a little higher than I wanted. And he's going to try to close the gap again. Yeah, I guarantee that these drivers have a lot of grip strength, definitely, on that steering wheel. There's no doubt about it. Especially in tense situations. Harvick already 5.5 seconds ahead. Crazy. It's going to be tough. If we stay caution free to the end, we should have 2nd place locked up. And as far as the race win goes, it's looking like me and Harvick. I mean, there's no doubt in the clean air, Harvick's got the best car in the field today. cautions worked out in stage 1, it hurt him. And because the only caution we got back in stage 2 is at the very end of the stage, he didn't have enough time to have a chance to work right back around us. Already 7 seconds ahead, and we have only ran 4 laps. He is almost 2 seconds of a lap faster than us. It's roughly 1.7 seconds a lap faster on average. That's crazy. And wow, Denny Hamlin even closing in on us here. He's only 1.5 seconds back. He is far from the rear of the field, along with Kyle Busch not too far behind him. Now again, they took the wave around. We have fresher tires on them by roughly 5 or 6 laps. Not going to make much of a difference, but might be enough of a difference to at least stay in front of these guys. That is for sure. What a race here today. It's been a weird one. There haven't been many battles for the lead. Really, the only real battle we saw for the lead could have been on this last restart with Kevin Harvick, but it didn't last long. Maybe 2 turns at best. He was gone. And he's still gone. 9 seconds ahead. Closing in on about 9.5 seconds ahead. So Hamlin is still in 3rd. About a 0.5 second ahead of Kyle Busch. They're roughly 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds back still. They're not really gaining much on us. We'll just have to see. Remember, Harvick earlier at the start of the race got out to a 14.5 second lead, so I guess this shouldn't be as surprising. But that took 15 laps for him to get to a 14.5 second lead. Like, this is... He's out to a 10 second lead in the first 7 laps of the run. Half that time he's gotten about 2/3 of the way out in front of us compared to what he was back in stage 1 at the very beginning of the race. Again, it's going to be fun. I think this is going to be a fun final stage, despite the first 2 stages being somewhat of a snooze fest, as most people would say. Again, it's going to be based off of strategy more than anything on how this stage is going to be interesting, because again, I mean, Harvick's just going to pull away for the first 15 to 20 laps, and then if we stay green, we're going to have to run him down the next 10 to 20 laps trying to get him back. And once we get more spread out and Harvick catches lap traffic, that should help us as well. He has not gotten through lap traffic nearly as well as we did today. So at the line this time, we will alternate through the cameras one final time here in today's race. It's been a while since we did it the first time early in the race, but we'll do it one more time. Yeah, you're right. Driving this fast, 40 people close together, driving this fast in general is not easy. Especially when you factor in the horsepower in the car, because I don't think people realize, even on these 1.5-mile tracks now that they have less horsepower at 550, it is still a lot of horsepower. If you've ever driven a car with a ridiculous amount of horsepower, you know it's got some kick. And for some people, it's too much. It's too much. Too much horsepower in the grasp of their hands, and they can't control it. Just imagine trying to do that, mashing it to the floor consistently, not for 8 seconds on the highway, you know? at 75 miles an hour versus repeatedly for a few hours. Anywhere between, realistically, most races 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Definitely can be challenging, I'm sure. So Harvick is out to about a 12.5 second lead now. His lead hasn't grown as much over the last couple laps, but it still has been growing slightly. Kyle Busch is now up to third. He has passed Denny Hamlin and is barely in front of him right now. And Kurt Busch is the next closest driver to both Kyle Busch and Hamlin. Kurt Busch is in fifth. He is about 9 seconds back from where we are in second. And he's about 5 seconds back from Denny Hamlin in fourth. 13-second lead now for Kevin Harvick. We'll see if he'll climax out at 14.5 again. Before we start to run him back down. I think the best thing for us is for it to stay green, because if we keep getting cautions and short runs, that's just going to hurt us more and more. I thought it was going to be a caution fest race after the first 2 cautions came out in the first 20 laps. We've only had 1 since then. I just can't believe how far ahead Harvick is. Not only in front of me, because we're still in second, but just compared to everybody else in the field. It is amazing the level that that team and that car is at from that New Hampshire race yesterday. As he is even 10 times faster than what he was in the race yesterday, and he finished second and had a great car that day. Completely different track too. That's a flat 1 mile, basically short track. This is a long 2.5 mile triangular racetrack where you need to have a lot of straightaway speed, get off the corners well to have that extra straightaway speed. And he's definitely got it today. Just over a 13-second lead. 47 to go. He hasn't caught the lap traffic yet, but he probably will in the next couple laps. So that last lap, we were about a 1/10 of a second quicker than Harvick. And at the line, we were 13.2 seconds back. We were 13.1 back at the line. So we gained a 1/10 of a second. I think we're at the point where he's in lap traffic right now too, I guess. So that's probably why we're faster. He's still probably technically faster than us, but he's in lap traffic, and we still got at least a few laps before we catch a lap car. So this is going to be the start of trying to run him back down. Hey, you're right, the heat in the cars too. I didn't even put that into consideration. How crazy it gets with the fire suit and all the other stuff that they have to wear on a hot day. I remember last year, I can't remember exactly what race it was, but I remember there being a race where it was over 150 degrees in the cockpit of a car, which is just ridiculous. I think it was the Vegas race. No, it was 2 years ago when Vegas was an afternoon race late in the summer. That's what it was. But yeah, still. So caution's out for the 4th time today. right on the edge of the pit window. Again, we can go about 40 laps on a full tank of fuel. We're not going to be able to make it from this point. We're going to pit, and Harvick's probably going to gain some time on us again here. And that's not what we needed to see. We did not need a caution at all, really. So this is going to be tough. We're going to try to hold with them as long as we can, but I don't expect it to be very long at all. The green flag back in the air at Pocono. 42 laps left to decide the winner of the race. Kevin Harvick leads the field to the green as we try to side draft him now. And we're going to try to hold on as much as we can. Now the outside lane starting to form in a little bit. Still side by side into turn one, just trying to hold on. Kurt Busch is there now. 3 wide for second, and here comes Jimmy Johnson in the mix. Johnson, of course, is still a lap down. He's the first driver 1 lap down. Of course, just trying to stay in it, back in the gas too soon. Had to get out of the gas now. And now Alex Bowman's going to get under us. Huge freight train line, still 3 wide now behind. Johnson barely holding on to the free pass spot. Not anymore. Now Keselowski's got it. Johnson giving us a push. Trying to help us out. He's trying to get going as well. He's got Almirola in front of him. He's trying to catch Eric. Still getting held up. Trying to side draft the 24. Johnson is losing a ton of spots right now. Having a bad restart. Contact now with the 24. Up the track we go. 4 wide. Jimmy almost puts it in the wall. He got very close to hitting the wall that time. And we're probably going to lose a lot more ground to Harvick now than what we ever have over the course of this race, because we are having a lot of cars get around us. Unbelievable. Trying to get around Matt DiBenedetto. Won't happen that time. Contact with him once again. And now Menard gets on by, and we got to just stay in line behind him and try to hold back Ryan Newman. A rough restart on our behalf. Newman washes us up the track, trying to bump and run through turn 3 to get around us. Won't happen that time. 39 laps to go at Pocono. Fuel mileage race. We've seen this in the past here. We are roughly 2 laps short on fuel to the end of the race. Good old classic fuel mileage race, folks. We haven't had many of those in the Cup Series this season on this game for the course of these live streams, but we might have one here today. Barely able to hold off the 21. He was looking to the outside through the tunnel turn that time. So we are back at 7. This is the furthest back we have ran in quite some time in this race. So that's going to be the question. Can anybody save 2 laps worth of fuel before the end of the race? Is it possible? And how far ahead will Kevin Harvick be able to pull away if, again, we try to run him down? Yeah, you're right. Kurt Busch got to the bottom of the track and we were just stuck on the top from that point on. That is for sure, but it didn't help. Harvick was also on the inside of us when we went into the corner. I mean, we were stuck on the outside the whole time. I could not get around the 4. I tried to side draft him as much as possible, but it just wasn't enough. And we are already 6 seconds back from the 6th place driver of Kurt Busch on the racetrack right now. And Kevin Harvick already 10.5 seconds ahead. Much dirtier air compared to his clean air, and you can see the gap on the track map down below there on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Kevin Harvick is quite a ways ahead of even the 2nd place driver, who I'd assume would be Denny Hamlin right now, and Kyle Busch right behind him, another Joe Gibbs Racing teammate. That'd be crazy though if we go this entire race with only me and Harvick leading every single lap. But that is very much becoming a reality before the end of this race, the closer we get to the finish. Big run on the back of the 24 of Byron now. 198 miles an hour into turn 1. We tried to side draft off the 9 of Elliott. 3 wide. Byron gets to our inside. Now he's trying to get back around us. He's battling Elliott for 15th. Another nice run. So we're starting to gain some time on these guys. I'm sure Harvick's still going to pull away from us, but as far as everybody else goes, and look at Elliott just power it to the outside. He's able to clear us. We'll try it again through turn 3. Trying to keep that car as close to the curb as possible. Could not do it that time. .35 to go. We'll race with the normal camera now for the rest of the race. Snooze fest for the most part through stages 1 and 2, where we dominated as far as laps led, got the stage wins in both, but stage 3 has been another animal. Yeah, this game is definitely challenging on max difficulties, as you see here in this one. We definitely had a faster car the first time we came to Pocono, though. I don't know what the deal is this time around, but it's definitely hurting us. 34 laps to go. 13.5 seconds, now about 14 seconds off the lead from Kevin Harvick, and he is nowhere near lap traffic yet. But we got to keep digging, and the worst part is we can't save fuel. Harvick can get so far ahead of these guys and try to save fuel before he gets to lap traffic. We can't save fuel at all because we're trying to run down these guys ahead of us and try to still have a shot at the win. But if it means us having to run it dry to the very end, we're going to run it dry. Obviously, when we hit pit road, whenever that might be, we're going to have to take fuel only. Assuming we try to run it as long as we can. So Johnson has gotten back in front of Eric Almirola. Took a little bit over the course of the run. He's a couple spots ahead of him. Remember, he finished 9th in stage 2 and 6th back at stage 1. So as far as the playoff bubble goes, he in the stages, because Almirola got 0 stage points during this entire race. And with the positions they're running in right now, he's outscored him by about 8 points or so today. If he can cut it under 20 going into Watkins Glen, that would help him out a ton. So we get around both Almirola and Keselowski that time. A 3-wide pass for turn 3. Alright, LC Gaming, thanks for joining. Hopefully you can make it back before the finish of the race. We've got about 32 laps to go as we run. 14.5 seconds off the lead now. Right behind Alex Bowman, now looking to the inside. Oh, contact with Bowman, getting into turn 3. Bowman puts us back in the wall as a payback. Definite contact. And that's going to cost us quite a bit of time through turn 3. Now 15.5 seconds off the lead. The furthest we have been behind Harvick all day long. Again, these guys were passing 4th position. Or these guys we are passing now are not 4th position. We are still about 5.5 to 6 seconds behind Kurt Busch. Kyle Larson for 5th and 6th. You see them going into turn 3. Side by side right now. Kurt on the inside. Kyle was on the top. So we try to run these leaders down. $30 to go. Harvick has now caught the lap traffic at the rear of the field again. He has he had a 15.5 second lead, so now that he's in the lap traffic, we caught up a second on him. Trying to run him back down as much as we can to the end of the race. If you are just joining us back once again, we've got 29 laps to go. We're roughly 2 laps short on fuel to the end of the race. The timing of the last caution put us just at the edge of the pit window. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody will be able to make it on fuel to the end as well. Can we track down the 4 of Harvick, who has had the fastest car throughout the course of the race today, despite the fact that we won the first 2 stages. We won stage 1 because of the way the cautions came out. We were able to pull off to such a big lead that by the time stage 2 rolled around, we went caution free. Harvick never had a shot to get to us. Well, I should say we had a caution at the end of the stage, but that ended the stage when the caution came out with 3 laps to go in the stage. Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson still battling for position. And we've caught them so much because they've been side by side, battling back and forth for the 5th spot. And as we close in on them, nice big run through turn 2. I think we'll get up to Kurt and Kyle here. If I had to guess, probably next lap, the way they've been racing with one another. Kurt back down to the bottom again off of turn 3. Beating Larson back to the gas, looking to the inside. Trying to get to the left rear and side draft him, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I don't know, he's still peeking to the inside into turn 1. Kurt Busch has a run. Kyle couldn't block him off. Side by side for 5th. We're going to get the run on him coming off of turn number 1. 3 wide now for 5th. Down to the bottom of the track. Clearing Larson and Kurt Busch easily before we get into turn 2. They're still side by side behind us into turn 2. And now we trail about 4.5 Sorry, about 4 seconds behind Eric Jones in fourth. Another 4.5 seconds behind Kyle Busch in third. .26 to go. What a race. That last lap we ran was about a second off from our fastest time we have ran today. And it's over 2 seconds. Or sorry, not 2 seconds, but it's quite a ways back from the fastest time we have ran ever. About a second and a half. Just do not have the speed in the race car today. I think we hit pit road this next time, whether it's under green or not, we have to repair damage. It's definitely not helping us out. We're still 10.5 seconds up the lead, 25 to go, but we are tracking in the right direction finally. So that's a good sign. Caught McMurray in a bad spot there, but there's the next 3 drivers ahead of us. Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. The next 3 drivers on the track, no lap cars in between any of them. At least for now. Hamlin is caught up to the back of another lap car going into turn 2. We're about to have a 4-way battle for second. So we get to the inside of Jones. We'll clear him before we get into turn 3, up to 4th. Harvick again, quite a ways ahead of us yet. To the inside of BJ McLeod, got tight. We're going to clear him off of turn 3. Jones caught him in a bad spot. He's now stuck behind him. So we try to draft off the 18 of Kyle Busch, who goes to the bottom of the 00 as we sneak by Kyle Busch as well, up to 3rd. 8.5 seconds back of the lead, trying to catch Harvick. To the inside of Hamlin now for second. We'll clear him before we get into turn 2. Blaney back to second place again. Harvick with a big lead, but it's getting smaller. Lap car is kind of spaced out in front of Harvick about 1 by 1 right now, so that's going to help him a little bit. And the same will go for us. So we get closer and closer to the end of the race. The more laps we run, we're tracking even worse in the fuel mileage range. We're about 3 laps short now. Again, everybody on the lead lap pit at the same time. Classic fuel mileage race at Pocono right now. Who can save the most? If we get a caution, will guys try to stay out knowing that they can make it on fuel to the end, or at least be closer to making it on fuel to the end? Will we see more pit stops? Perhaps. We get a caution, everybody pits for tires one more time before the end of this race. I think we're done. I don't think we can run Harvick back down in less than a 20-lap sprint to the finish. I just don't think it's possible. We're only going to have lap traffic for about the last 5 laps or so of that run. Been losing him too much on the restarts. We need this race to stay green to the end, and even then, depending on when everybody pits, how will that shape up the finish of this one? Starting to catch lap traffic in better spots here. Middle of the straightaways, we're able to get down, beat them before we get into the corner. So here we go. 3 seconds back of the 4 car of Harvick. Looks like he's got Ty Dillon just in front of him, and then quite a bit of room before the next lap car. Now 1.5 off the lead at the line. 20 to go here at Pocono. Harvick caught Wallace in the middle of turn 2. Here we come for the lead. Blaney to the bottom, Harvick on the top. Into turn 3 now, gonna clear him. Will he try a crossover? He's there, he wiggles just a little bit. He's not gonna be able to do it. Ryan Blaney back to the lead again at Pocono. At the line, 18 laps to go. I had it right the first time, we got 19 laps left. Into turn 1, so now we've got the lead, we've got the better car at this point in the run. It took a while, but we finally ran him back down after about 25 laps. But now, fuel mileage to the end of the race. Everybody's roughly 3 laps short, 2 to 3 laps short on fuel. Will anybody try to risk it? And if not, will we have guys trying to short pit, take tires, and gain track position that way anytime soon? Because remember, back in stage 1, those guys short pit. Who's to say they won't do it here at the end of the race? It's definitely possible. Honestly, if we see Harvick pit, granted, we'd have to stay out that lap because we're ahead of him. We'd have to pit the next lap. We can't let him get too far out ahead on strategy because we're never going to be able to catch him that final run. It is going to be very interesting. Plus, if a caution comes out, you're probably going to see everybody dive onto pit road again. And we're just going to have to hold on for dear life on the restart, which we have not been able to do all day today. That could be a difference maker as well to the finish of this race. Once again, the top 8 are on the lead lap. And we do have one driver on pit road now, so we might have some of these guys hitting pit road. What will Harvick do this time? Off of turn 3. He's staying on the track. That might have been a slow car hitting pit road. I'm not entirely sure. I did see one driver duck onto pit road, though. And is still on pit road. Because we only have 3 drivers DNF'd in this race. Back out of the pits they go. Warming back into line into turn 1, so... well within the pit window here, what will guys do? Keeping an eye on it, we've still only seen that one driver hit pit road that last lap, and that was it. You're within 20 seconds of the lead. You can still hold on to the lead lap if you were to pit right now and still take 4 tires. So it is not completely impossible that they would try something like that to the end of the race. Again, Harvick stays out that time. But his pace has backed off quite a bit. That could help him save just enough gas. Can he make it those extra 2 laps? The 2 laps at Pocono is a long time. That's 5 miles of fuel to save We've obviously trended in the wrong direction trying to catch up to Harvick and pass him. We're going to be short. I know for a fact we're going to be short. Just how will the rest of the field look? Harvick 9 seconds back in the lead, 15 to go. And he stays out of the pits again. We did a good job. The one lone green flag stop we made earlier in the race, we did not speed. The rest of the leaders have taken 2 green flag stops over the course of the race, so they have a little bit more practice than we have. Chase Elliott fan, there is a good chance they will pit. Because, I mean, when that last caution came out, when that 4th caution of the race came out, we had 45 laps to go. When we went green, we were 2 laps behind the pit window. We run about 40 laps on a full tank. So, I mean, they're probably going to pit at some point in time. It's just a matter of when. That's assuming they can't make it, but they could have better fuel mileage than us, too. Very well possible. We've seen that in other races this season. If that's the case, we're going to be in trouble here. $13 to go. Roll is now falling back to 14th again in this race. He will now go 2 laps down. $15 seconds out ahead of Harvick now. They might just be waiting for a caution at this point. Caution, or they can make it. They're just going to try to run as long as they can. It's going to be one of those 2 things, because they're not short pitting like they did in stage 1. So I think even if they short pitted now, again with us pitting the next lap on Harvick, I think he would only gain a few seconds of time. Then again, he was 15.5 seconds ahead of us also on fresher tires compared to what we were, so I guess it's not impossible, but he would have to pit very soon if he was going to try to gain time. Really weird that we only saw 1 driver on pit road, though, under green this stage. One of the largest leads of the race so far, about 18.5 seconds to 19 seconds ahead of Kevin Harvick. At the line, 10 laps to go here at Pocono. Tyler Reddick, Jimmy Johnson now just in front of us. Johnson trying to get around and protect. That's another point to try and gain on Almirola. So we'll put them both another lap down, 9 to go. Yeah, we're pacing even worse on fuel now. We're almost 4 laps short on fuel to this point, maybe even less. We're definitely not going to make it. We're going to have to pit. Yep. 8 to go at the line, so we're just over 4 laps short on fuel at the end of the race. We're getting out to a big lead here. Again, tires can make it to the end of the stage, so we might just go gas only just to get to the finish here. Harvick stays out another lap. Out of the outside of Stenhouse, who was in 9th place. He's having himself a great run here in this one. 7 to go. Oh boy, way down to the apron there. A little contact with Kurt Busch. A little loose on the entrance to turn 1 that last time. 26% tire wear on that right front now. At the point in the run where the grip has definitely gone away in the car. See it just kind of sliding around. Just trying to make it as long as we can at this point. We're going to stay out at least this time by. Kyle Larson, next driver to go a lap down just in front of us. In 7th, so now 6 drivers are on the lead lap currently. Pocono in 6th. And Joey's going to go a lap down as well. We're going to hit pit road this time by. I don't think we're going to make it another lap. On to pit road. Got to make sure we don't speed. 55 miles an hour is the speed limit. Easily did not speed that time. Took our time. Going to put just enough fuel to get it back in there. Half can. We'll take 4 tires just in case they do. I think we've got a big enough lead. We should be able to come out in front of them with a 4-tire stop still. Assuming that they can make it on fuel. Oh no, you've got to be kidding me. This glitch again. Why is it always Michael McDowell? That's the 3rd time we've had that glitch this season. Oh my god. Oh, they're going so slow. The glitch is back again. Here we go to the finish. Back on the track. Harvick out in the lead. 5 laps to go. But we've got 4 fresh tires. Can we run him back down? If they can make it on fuel to the end, Harvick is in the lead by 15.5 to 16 seconds as we try to get back up to speed now. More cars hitting pit road back behind us. We're currently still in 2nd. That glitch costed us just a little bit of time. Is Harvick going to stay out again? No, he will not. He gonna pit as well. Will he go fuel only, but it won't matter if he does or not. We should cycle back on in front of him again. Now we just gotta stay green to the end of the race. Menard on the brakes hard there. Locking him up. And we're gonna take the lead while Harvick's on pit road. Yeah, they definitely took 4 tires also, because we're cycling right back out about where we were before we had hit pit road. So here we go. Now we just got to stay green. We'll have 3 laps to go at the line this time. If a caution comes out, we go to overtime. Can everybody make it? Harvick back out on the track. Three to go at the line. It'll be a lead change officially this time. Ryan Blaney back out in front of Harvick, who has cycled back out in second pretty easily. And you can tell everybody took 4 fresh tires. So if a caution comes out, we're going to have ourselves a race to the finish. Harvick gaining time. He's too far behind though. It's not going to matter. 2.5 miles, a long way to go. Over 50 seconds a lap. This next lap is going to feel like the longest lap of the race. Two laps to go at the line for Ryan Blaney. 2.5 miles to make it back to the white flag. Still got cars coming off the pit road that were laps down beforehand. Hopefully nobody blows a tire or runs out of fuel and stalls, forcing the yellow. We'll get around McMurray easily as he tries to get up to speed. Kurt Busch kind of got caught behind him. Kurt Busch currently the first driver, 1 lap down in 6th right now. 1 more corner to go to get the white flag. Still got cars hitting pit road. We're going to make it. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go at Pocono. Still got cars exiting pit road. Kurt Busch gets to us. It's a good chance we'll just let him go. We don't have to race him at all. Not going to risk anything. Two more corners left. Oh, back in the gas too soon, off the wall. Yeah, we'll just let Kurt go by. That's alright. It wasn't a clean last lap, but we're going to get to the finish. Turn 3 for the final time. Off of turn 3 to the start-finish line. A little bit of a fuel mileage race here today, ladies and gentlemen, but Ryan Blaney sweeps the stages, and Ryan Blaney sweeps the Pocono races on the course of the season. Get another win on the year, adding on to the regular season total. Smoke show at the end of this one. Let's look at your race analysis here at the end of this one. Total elapsed time over the course of the race, 139 minutes. That would be 2 hours and 19 minutes from start to finish here for this second Pocono race on the season. 4 cautions total. 7 drivers finished the race on the lead lap. Your top 10 looks like this. Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, another second place finish. Back-to-back races for him. Denny Hamlin 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, Eric Jones 5th, Joey Logano 6th, Kurt Busch 7th, Kyle Larson 8th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 9th, and Jimmy Johnson, despite finishing 2 laps down, will round out the top 10, gaining quite a bit of points on Eric Almirola. Even though Almirola finished 14th there, Johnson had stage points in each of the first 2 stages of this race as well. So we look at the point standings here, the playoff bubble now. Jimmy, of course, has that playoff point, winning the second stage at Daytona, and goes from 30 points behind the cut line to now 20 points behind the cut line. Gained 10 points on Eric throughout the course of this race today. Kyle Larson had a good day as well. He's not too far behind. He's also only 25 points back, and quite a big gap before you get to Hemrick behind those guys. So it looks like it's a 3-man race. Newman not too comfortable right now as well. He didn't have a great race today either, but so I guess you can argue 4 guys fighting for those last 2 spots on points. And that is going to be that. Harvick had the fastest lap with a 53.127. Ryan Blaney led the most laps today, 94 laps led in this one out of the 160. Started at the rear, finished at the front. And the top break is going to go to Daniel Suarez, who qualified 2nd for the race today, but DNF'd. One of the 3 drivers to DNF in this one. He finished 39th. That is going to be all for this one. Again, hit the subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content, such as the live streams with realistic broadcasts, as you saw here today. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the race, the commentary, the video in general, and hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss another upload. Next full race live stream tomorrow morning. Same start time as it was today, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We go to Watkins Glen. I'll be using the steering wheel for that race and wear myself out in the morning. That'll be 7 o'clock Pacific and 9 a.m. Central. So hope to see you guys then. Thanks for watching as always. I appreciate the support, and I'll see you tomorrow.